Last week, we raced at one of the flagship circuits in American sports car racing. If there was another that ought to be placed up towards the top, it'd surely be Daytona International Speedway. Home to IMSA's perennial season opener and one of the world's most prestigious 24-hour races, it will no doubt be circled on everyone's calendar this season. We'll see who claims that special victory as we get ready to watch Round 4 of the PRL LeMans Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Daytona is getting a lot of love around this time of year. Between the 24 and the Daytona 500, the action can feel non-stop. Let's head to our track guide to learn more about it. Welcome to the Daytona International Speedway. While many oval fans associate this Central Florida track with mainly NASCAR, the road course has gained just as much worldwide fame thanks to it hosting motorcycles and sports cars for decades. In fact, the flagship road race, the 24 Hours of Daytona, has become a major draw for drivers of all disciplines, many eager to have a go at endurance racing. The stats make this place sound relatively simple, with 12 corners on the regular road circuit and 14 on the NASCAR version, both spread amongst 3.5 miles. Indeed, a majority of the lap is spent on the oval portion, where you fly along the notoriously steep banking. But it's easy to underestimate the challenge presented to the drivers. The infield portion begins with the scary kinked entry of Turn 1. Not only is it the fastest part of the track, but the transition from the banking to the flat tends to upset the car as you slow it down. There's also the bus stop chicane on the backstretch. Added in the 80s, this is a tricky piece of circuit that punishes a poor exit severely, with it leading back into the latter half of the oval. As you'd expect, the long periods on throttle mean that drafting tends to play a factor in the racing. It also means passing isn't usually too great of an issue if you have the pace to catch someone. The more difficult thing is managing to gap your opponent so that they don't ride in your slipstream once you get by. With half a century of endurance racing collected among these walls, it's not unfair to say that road racers have just as much claim to call Daytona home. Fans who come to watch certainly won't be disappointed by the high speeds and fantastic thrills it invariably provides each year. Honestly, the past week in general has seen quite a bit of this track here on the Global Sim Racing channel, but DJ, we might have new viewers, so talk about how these GTE and LMP2 cars are going to be like here.
Well, they are going to take to this track like fish in water, Joe. This is exactly where these cars love to be. We always talk about it when we come to Daytona, the mega draft that you get around the high banking of NASCAR 1, 2, 3, and 4 all the way around. But there's still some good braking opportunities all the way around the track, particularly into turn 1, that sweeping left-hander. It's very tricky, but we've seen moves both on the inside and the outside. If you're able to keep a good run going, you may see a little bit into the international horseshoe as well. And then there's always the bus stop for those who are very opportunistic. You can get a pass through in there, but it is really a one-lane way to run, so not a lot of area to go side by side.
It tends to be pretty tricky, and things can go south quickly when people tangle through there. But before we get to any entanglements, let's mention that today's race is brought to you by SimMSA. Simulation Motorsports Affinity provides many consulting services, from completely customizing simulators to managing teams, individual drivers, and complete events. They're working hard to bring everyone together at one place to support and promote sim racing internationally. Find out how you can bridge the gap between virtual and real motorsports at SimMSA.net.
The PRL LeMans Series is also brought to you by NinjaTrader. Ready to compete against the financial markets? Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, NinjaTrader provides award-winning trading services, software, brokerage services. NinjaTrader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulations. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance.
Today's broadcast is also proudly sponsored by Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add an incredible immersion and realism to any game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Check them out at thebuttkicker.com. Let's take a look at the championship because things are getting interesting. Starting with the Lmp2 standings, of course. Christophe Herbinot currently up at the top, but he is not here today from what we've seen. Actually, no, I double-checked, and it looks like he has shown up late, so not much practice for Christophe. Will he be able to continue the good performances he's been putting in? Felipe Ruiz is sitting in second with Christian Eisler. Very consistent, a little bit overdue for a win, but sitting in third. Byron Daly and Horatio Calquin rounding out our top five in the points after 3 rounds. And then we have our Gte standings. Michael Ross up at the front of that, very close for those top 3 spots. Uthman Alawi still looking for his first win. And then Stephen Ash also on a single win as Michael Ross is. 3 points tied, 3 points behind Michael Ross, tied for second place. Rafael Russo, Dzube, and Francisco Montini round out our top 5. We've got the team championships for each of them. DJ, how are those looking?
Well, Punto CL Racing is currently sitting atop the standings there with Delta Sport U4K 21 points back, so definitely within striking distance. Delta Sport picking up 2 wins on the season to Punto's only 1, but a little more consistency from Punto, putting them up at the top. NinjaTrader LMP2 a fair ways back. They're 40 points behind Delta Sport, and Final Lap Team Yellow and Torque Freak in a very, very close battle for that 4th place position. Moving over to the Gte Championships, you can see that RSR by G Performance is currently leading the pack, but Frozen Speed Full Send Racing right on their heels. Joe, only 4 points back. Both of those teams picking up a win apiece, so very, very close between them. Vector by RSR is a decent ways back, 24 points back, and then about 9 points back from them. SRT Esport Green sitting 33 back of the leader, but Lockup Racing right on their heels, only 2 back in 5th.
And for today's event specifically, here's our race details. Round 4 out of 10. There's the 2 different classes you can run. Dallara LMP2s are single make, but the GTE class cars, there's a couple different ones that you can choose from. It's a 60-minute event, and it is open setup, which will be important at a track as fast as this one, trying to get it trimmed out. They have some incident limits, which will give you a drive-through at 13 and a disqualification at 18. Considering the bus stop can easily get you incident points, that could be a real problem for a few people. Bonus points up for grabs as well. They're listed at the bottom, including the pole position in each of the classes. Right now, we have just started those qualifying laps. Felipe Ruiz holds the provisional pole in the LMP2s. Uthman Alawi in the GTEs. Now, a big thing here for this is they cannot use the slipstream in this series because it is solo qualifying here, DJ.
It is, and so these times are going to be very, very slower than what we will see in the race, which is not normally what you see. As you see Nicholas Johnston there coming across the line, looks like he's going to be currently 6th, as Carl Modoff is going to come across with a 33.7. If that time sticks, it does. That is a 4th place for him. Here comes Jerome Bethune, one of our first GTE drivers to come across the line, or excuse me, he's coming in. There he is, going through the tri-oval as we speak, putting in a 48.369. That's going to be not the best lap for Jerome. He's going to be hoping to do better. Federico Montini out there right now. He currently sits 7th.
Next one's going to be David Flanagan running in the Corvette C8R. As he crosses the line, this is his first time lap. A 41.766 will put him into 10th in class. Up next would be Felipe Ruiz, who is our provisional pole sitter currently. Down into the line. He's got 2 tenths, and now that's going to extend to 3 tenths over Horatio Calquin.
Very, very quick for Ruiz as we watch Ovando coming to the line now. You saw Ruiz on that lap ducking below the double yellows on the tri-oval area. Now that is allowed on the tri-oval and the backstretch. You cannot do it, however, in the actual NASCAR turns where we see Herbinot driving through right now. So something to keep in mind. Race control very clear to point that out at the beginning of the race.
Curious. Uthman Alawi has exited his car and he doesn't appear to be coming out to qualify for his final 2 laps. He's just put 2 in, and nope, now he's coming back out. Okay, so he's going to give it one more shot. His 3rd lap won't count, so maybe putting some fresh rubber on and seeing if he can get one last flyer. Francisco Montini, one of our few GT drivers yet to put a time in. It's going to be a 40.4, it seems, as he crosses. And that's actually, wow, that's the front row for Montini.
That's a great lap for him. Here comes Bethune coming across the line with 41.851. That is going to put a time on the board. Looking like on that last lap we saw him on, he ran afoul of some of those off tracks, and it did not count for him.
Rafael Russo bringing it as far down as he can go onto the apron of the tri-oval. 2nd lap not going to count, though. Flanagan on his 2nd lap does not go quicker. Josh Wolf, his 3rd time by, he'll stay put in 6th. And we've got Menino, the number 3 and 11th, stays in 11th. Looks like Leighton will be next, and Eisler is right behind him. Eisler is only a 10th behind Felipe Ruiz on that front row, so this will be an important one to watch, that 727 car.
And there you see Tiensai Leighton going faster, and not any faster there for Eisler. That may have been a bit of a warm-up lap for him, so he's going to stay 2nd, has another one to work. Here comes Stephen Ash in the Porsche GTE, currently sat 3rd. I think, Joe, that's a warm-up lap. Yep, you can normally tell those guys wanting to stick it very high up through the tri-oval to carry as much momentum as possible.
Now we've got Carl Modoff, who sits in 3rd. Oh, doesn't improve, just a 10th off of his quickest. And allow his 3rd lap as he gets it going, comes around to start his final flyer. He'll have just enough time to do it. We are kind of running out of time here in the qualifying. They only get 10 minutes to set these 4 laps.
Looks like Francisco Montini not going to be able to improve on his very good 2nd place time. But here comes his brother Federico Montini. He is currently set back, but here is series organizer Jerome Bethune coming to the line. He's going to do a lot better on that with a 48.431. That'll bump him up the charts to 12th. Kenny Rodriguez currently sat 13th.
Driver's 2nd in the points. Ovando is still trying to set a time. He comes down and across. And this one still is not good. Oh boy, Ovando is going to be under the gun if he does not manage to get himself a clean qualifying lap. This will be his last shot to do it. After that, he won't have enough time to complete a 4th.
And here comes Tyler DeZube, one of your top 5 boys. You can see him running high on that tri-oval, getting a warm-up lap here. Here comes Eisler, ducking down low. He's able to improve by 0.2, and that is just barely the pole.
But Ruiz comes across, and he doesn't improve. Eisler snatches it away from him. What about Herbino? He's coming to the line. He sits in 5th. It's a 33.492. That will get him up to 3rd place, but still, Christian Eisler looks set to take this top spot.
There you see Cal Quinn going a little bit faster. It's going to jump him up to 3rd. Herbino bumps down to 4th. Modoff coming in. Uthman Alawi, we talked about him running those late laps. Here he comes. Can he improve on that 40? Yes, he can. A 40 dead for Alawi.
That puts him 0.3 past Montini, Francisco Montini, who's actually coming around for his final timed lap. That's Brett Barrett. Looks like he is not able to improve that time by, and Francisco pulls into the pits. Wow.
A couple of these guys just not thinking that they're going to have it. There's Stephen Ash crossing the line on that high line, taking a good run here. Here is Francisco's brother, Federico Montini, diving low. He's on a quick one here, but not able to improve with a 49.11. Here comes Ovando, Joe. This is the story we were talking about. This is now or never.
Again, he's had 2 laps, but neither of them counted, so it's got to be this one or nothing. It's a 140.8. That'll get him on the board, but still he's well down in 10th.
He's going to be kicking himself for that one. Rafael Russo unable to improve on his time. Here comes Horacio Calquin through the bus stop, and they are right there. Well, here just came over, Joe. That's the point we talk about where it is so tricky not to get an off track, so easy to get those left tires a little too far onto the grass. But Calquin working his way through NASCAR 3 and 4 now.
And he runs out of time, unfortunately. So that is it for our qualifying. Our order is going to have Christian Eisler on the top spot, taking those bonus points, with Felipe Ruiz next to him and Horatio Calquin starting directly behind him in third. Christoph Herbino, currently leading the points, will start from P4, but he hasn't started from the pole in all of these races, so don't write him off. Karl Modoff starts in fifth. To his outside, it'll be Josh Wolf in P6. Owen Watts starts seventh. Then you've got Raymond Day in the eighth position and Ricardo Di Matteo in ninth. Byron Daly, he tends to climb up the order. He's starting 10th. This could be a good one today for him. Daniel Zegers will be